Gherkin for test automation. In this tutorial, we will learn the basics of Gherkin language. What is Gherkin? Gherkin is a really easy to use, business-readable, domain-specific language that lets you describe software's behavior without detailing how that behavior is implemented. Gherkin serves two purposes. Documentation. You can document your test scenarios, use cases in a human-readable format. Automated tests. Gherkin feature files can be used as input for test automation, for example in Squish. Gherkin is a line-oriented language that uses indentation to define structure. Either spaces or tabs may be used for indentation. The recommended indentation level is 2 spaces. Line endings terminate statements or steps. Most lines start with a keyword. Comment lines are allowed anywhere in the file. They begin with a hash sign and has some text. You can use any text editor to create feature files. You must save the feature file with the extension feature. Now, have a look at this sample feature file. First line starts the feature. Lines 2 to 4 are unparsed text, which is expected to describe the business value of this feature. Line 6 starts a scenario. Lines 7 to 13 are the steps for the scenario. Line 15 starts next scenario and so on. Every feature file conventionally consists of a single feature. A line starting with the keyword feature followed by free indented text starts a feature. A feature usually contains a list of scenarios that starts with keyword scenario on a new line. Every scenario consists of a list of steps, which must start with one of the keywords given, when or then. The purpose of given is to put the system in a known state before the user starts interacting with the system, in the when steps. Avoid talking about user interaction in givens. If you were creating use cases, givens would be your preconditions. The purpose of when steps is to describe the key action the user performs. The purpose of then steps is to observe outputs. The observation should be related to the business value in your feature description and be on some kind of output that is something that comes out of the system like a value in the user interface or a message. When you have multiple givens, whens and thens, you can either repeat them in the scenario, or simply use and, or, but, as appropriate. If you have the same set of preconditions for all the scenarios of your feature, you can include those preconditions in the background. When you execute the feature, background runs once per each scenario. You can only have one set of background steps per feature. If you need different background steps for different scenarios, you'll need to split them into different feature files. If you have identical steps in all the scenarios in your feature file, you can use scenario outline. In other words, you can use scenario outline to execute the same scenario multiple times with different combinations of values. In the example below, I have 2 scenarios with identical steps. Only the values passed into steps are different. Instead of copying the same scenario multiple times, I can collapse the 2 scenarios into a single scenario outline. Note the data table specified with the keyword examples, and how the table column headers are referred from steps. When you run a scenario outline, it executes the scenario for each row in the data table. You can use data tables to pass a set of values to a step definition as well. Remember, when you add a data table below a step definition, you shall not use the keyword examples. Apart from data tables, you can use docstrings to pass a larger piece of text to a step definition. The text should be offset by delimiters consisting of 3 double quote marks on lines of their own.